Commander Elena Voss sat in the bridge of the exploration flagship Aurora, her eyes scanning the dark expanse of space displayed across the main viewport. Stars stretched endlessly in every direction, tiny points of light that reminded her crew how small humanity was in the galaxy. Despite the vast emptiness, something unusual had caught their attention earlier that day. A new ship had appeared in a sector they had carefully charted. It moved differently from anything humans had ever built. There was no signature of life, no energy emissions that matched any known technology, and yet it was clearly intelligent. "Status report," Elena said, her voice calm but firm. Lieutenant Ron, the science officer, leaned over a console. "Commander, the ship is not transmitting any signals. Its propulsion system doesn't match any known human technology. It's almost as if it's using something beyond our understanding. I've never seen anything like it." Elena nodded. "Are our sensors picking up any life signs?" Rayan shook his head. "Negative. The readings are strange, almost as if the ship itself is alive, but not in any way we can recognize. There's no crew, no beings, no organic matter that matches any species in our database. It's completely unknown." The bridge was quiet for a moment. Even the low hum of the ship's systems seemed distant. Every officer knew that encountering something truly unknown could be dangerous, even deadly. But humanity had always been drawn to the unknown, and that was why they were here, thousands of light years from Earth. "Open a channel," Elena said finally. "Let's try to communicate. If it's intelligent, we need to make contact before it makes the first move." Rayan hesitated. "Commander, I don't think it understands our communication methods. There's no electromagnetic signal coming from it. It may not even recognize what we consider language." "We won't know until we try," Elena replied. "Prepare the signal." The crew worked quickly, inputting code sequences and sending out a series of pulses into the void. For hours, they waited. The ship didn't respond. It drifted silently, moving almost lazily at first, but as the humans observed it, they noticed something that caused a ripple of unease. Every time the Aurora changed course, even slightly, the ship adjusted its trajectory to follow. Captain Arik Denaro, second in command, frowned. "It's tracking us. Every movement we make, it mirrors. Even our decoy drones don't confuse it. This isn't normal." Elena leaned back in her chair, her mind racing. "Then we are not observing it, it's observing us. But why?" Rayan adjusted the sensors. "I've tried masking our energy emissions, using stealth patterns. It doesn't matter. The ship adapts. It seems to predict our moves before we make them, almost as if it's thinking ahead." A low murmur spread across the bridge. The crew glanced at each other, realizing for the first time how truly alone they were in a situation they had never faced before. Humanity had faced dangers before, pirates, rogue AI, and unpredictable planets. But this was different. This was something entirely new. Elena stood, walking slowly across the bridge. She stopped near the viewport, her eyes fixed on the ship. It was beautiful in a way that no human ship could be. Its hull shimmered with a color that seemed to shift with the light of nearby stars. Its shape was sleek and fluid, almost organic, as if it had grown rather than been built. And yet, there was a cold precision to it, a calculated intelligence that made her shiver. "Prepare the reconnaissance drones," she said finally. "We need more information. I want visual data, energy readings, and structural analysis. We approach carefully, no aggressive maneuvers." The crew moved efficiently. Within minutes, drones were launched into space, their cameras capturing the mysterious ship from multiple angles. As the live feed reached the bridge, the crew stared in awe. The ship was more complex than anything they had imagined. Its surface rippled subtly, like liquid metal frozen in motion. Strange patterns ran along its hull, faintly glowing in rhythms that seemed almost deliberate. "Commander, it's reacting to the drones," Ron said. "Every time one moves closer, the ship shifts slightly, almost like it's avoiding detection, but still watching us." Elena's brow furrowed. It's intelligent, it's aware of us, and it's learning. As the day passed, the tension on the bridge grew. The crew tried maneuvering the Aurora to confuse the ship, testing whether it could be lost in the vast emptiness of space. But every strategy failed. Each time the humans altered their path, the ship adjusted in near-perfect synchronization. It was as if the ship anticipated their intentions before they even acted. In the quiet moments, Elena considered the possibilities. Could it be alien? Could it be an advanced AI created by another civilization? Or could it be a remnant of something even older, something that had existed in the galaxy long before humanity? None of the possibilities were comforting. That night, in the ship's small observation lounge, Elena stood alone looking at the stars. She felt a strange connection to the unknown ship, a mix of fear and fascination. Humanity had always sought to understand the universe, but now the universe was staring back, and it wasn't passive. Back on the bridge, a sudden alert interrupted her thoughts. Commander, sensors are picking up changes in the ship's energy output. It's scanning us, more intensely than before. Elena straightened. Bring up the full analysis. I want to know what it's detecting. Ryan worked quickly, fingers flying over the console. It's difficult to describe. It's not scanning in a way we understand. It's measuring our energy, our movements, even our intentions, it seems. It's as if it can predict what we'll do next. Denaro shook his head. Predictive algorithms exist, but nothing that can anticipate human decisions in real time like this. It's beyond us. Elena clenched her fists. Then we need to change our approach. We've been trying to learn about it. Now it's time to learn about ourselves. I want simulations of random movements, unpredictable courses, anything that might confuse it. If it can't predict us, maybe we can gain an advantage. The next hours were filled with intense work. The bridge was alive with activity as engineers and officers attempted to implement unpredictable patterns, running simulations and real-time maneuvers. The ship continued to follow, adjusting, but now slightly slower, occasionally lagging behind just enough to give the humans hope. During a rare, quiet moment, Elena gathered her senior officers. We are facing something entirely new. We don't know if it is hostile or even capable of hostility, but we do know this. It is intelligent, it is aware, and it is learning. We must treat it with respect, but we must also protect ourselves. If we make one mistake... She left the thought unspoken. Everyone understood. One wrong move in the void of space could be catastrophic. As the Aurora continued its cautious pursuit, Elena felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Humanity had always reached for the stars, but now, for the first time, it felt as though the stars were reaching back. The unknown ship was not just a target, it was a mirror reflecting the best and worst of humanity, its curiosity, its courage, its recklessness. The first encounter ended as night fell over the bridge's observation windows, though night was meaningless in the void of space. The ship drifted just beyond their sensor range, silent, enigmatic, yet unmistakably present. Every officer on the bridge felt the same thrill and fear. Humanity was no longer alone, and whatever this intelligence was, it was waiting for them to make the next move. Elena stood once more by the viewport, staring into the blackness. She whispered to herself, though no one else could hear. We are being watched, but we will learn, and when we do... The unknown ship shimmered faintly in the distance, its subtle glow reflecting against the Aurora's hull. Somewhere deep in its hidden systems, it continued to track them, calculating, observing, learning. And somewhere in Elena's mind, a quiet determination took root. This encounter was only the beginning. Humanity had faced the unknown before, and though this was different, they would adapt. They would survive. They would not be passive. As the stars stretched endlessly and the mysterious ship moved silently across the void, one truth became clear. They had discovered something extraordinary, and it had discovered them. The galaxy was wide, full of secrets, and humanity's place in it had just become far more complicated and far more interesting than anyone had imagined. The next day aboard the Aurora began with a heavy sense of tension. The crew had spent the night reviewing every data point from the mysterious ship, trying to make sense of its movements. Despite their careful planning and unpredictable maneuvers, the ship had adjusted, tracking them with unnerving precision. It was clear now that they were not the hunters. They were being studied. Commander Elena Voss gathered her senior officers in the strategy room. The holographic map of the nearby sector floated above the table, showing the faint trail of the ship as it followed the fleet. "We've tried everything we know," Elena said. "Every evasive tactic, every decoy, nothing works. This ship is not just intelligent, it's adaptive. We need a new plan." Lieutenant Ron tapped a finger on the holographic display. "We might be able to use that against it. If it can predict our moves, maybe we can feed it false information, simulate behavior it would expect, then do something completely different." Captain Arik Denaro frowned. "It's risky. If it can anticipate our moves, we might be leading it exactly where it wants us to go. We could be walking into a trap." Elena nodded slowly. "We don't know that it's hostile yet, but we also cannot ignore the possibility. I want a strategy that keeps us safe while gathering more information. We are explorers, but we are not expendable. Begin simulations immediately." The crew worked tirelessly. Engineers, tacticians, and AI specialists ran complex calculations, creating maneuvers meant to confuse the ship. They simulated sudden jumps, unpredictable accelerations, and even splitting the fleet into multiple small groups. The ship responded to every move, adjusting as if it had already calculated all possibilities. For hours, it seemed impossible. Then something unexpected happened. One of the reconnaissance drones, sent far ahead of the fleet, detected a subtle energy spike. "Commander, you need to see this," Rand said. On the screen, the mysterious ship had paused, holding its position for the first time in over 20 hours. Its hull shimmered with a strange light, pulsing rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Elena leaned forward. "Is it communicating?" Ron shook his head. "I don't think so, but it's definitely responding to us. It seems curious, focused." The realization hit the bridge like a shockwave. The ship was not simply chasing them, it was studying them, reacting to their presence, testing their behavior. Humanity was no longer just exploring the galaxy. They were being tested. For the next few hours, the Aurora altered its maneuvers, carefully observing how the ship responded. Every change in speed, every subtle adjustment, seemed to provoke a reaction from the unknown vessel. The crew began to see patterns, almost imperceptible at first, but growing clearer with each observation. The ship was learning, but so were they. Captain Denaro addressed the bridge. "Commander, if we are being tested, we need to decide how we respond. Do we continue evasive maneuvers, or do we try to engage it differently?" Elena considered his words. "We cannot assume hostility, but we also cannot ignore the danger. I want to try communication. If it is intelligent, it may respond. We need to understand what we're dealing with before we make any mistakes." The communication team worked quickly. They devised a series of pulses and patterns meant to convey curiosity, peace, and non-aggression. The pulses were simple at first, repeating basic mathematical sequences, the kind humans assumed any intelligence would recognize. The ship paused again, holding still as if studying the signals. Then, slowly, its hull pulsed back in response. "Commander, it's responding," Rand said, disbelief in his voice. "I'm not sure what it's saying, but it's responding." Elena felt a thrill of cautious excitement. This was the first real interaction. Hours passed as the team adjusted their signals, trying different sequences and observing the ship's reactions. Each pulse of light and energy from the ship seemed deliberate, almost like it was testing the humans' intelligence, their patience, their ability to adapt. Meanwhile, smaller observation shuttles were sent closer to the ship. Their cameras captured more detail. The hull was not solid metal as humans knew it. Instead, it appeared semi-organic, with subtle movements rippling across the surface, almost as if the ship itself were alive. Patterns of light flowed like veins, glowing in soft pulses that seemed synchronized with the ship's maneuvers. Lieutenant Jara, piloting one of the shuttles, reported over comms. "The surface. It's like nothing we've ever seen. It moves, changes, adapts. I've never felt a machine could be this alive." Elena's heart pounded. "Stay calm, Lieutenant. Keep recording everything. Return when it's safe." The shuttle retreated slowly, and the ship mirrored its movement, maintaining a careful distance. It was not hostile, but it was intelligent, and it was aware of them in a way that humans had never experienced. As the day turned into night, the crew began to understand something remarkable. They were no longer just exploring the unknown. They were interacting with it. The mysterious ship was a reflection of their own curiosity, their ingenuity, and perhaps their best qualities as humans. It challenged them, learned from them, and in doing so, pushed humanity to adapt in ways they had never considered. Commander Elena Voss convened the senior officers again. "We have a choice. We can continue evasive maneuvers, trying to stay ahead and study it from a distance. Or we can attempt closer interaction. If it is intelligent, it may teach us things beyond our current understanding. We need to decide how far we are willing to go." There was a moment of silence. Finally, Captain Denaro spoke. "We've always taken risks to explore. I say we engage. Carefully, but we engage. We may never get another chance like this." Ryan nodded. "I agree. But we must be prepared for anything. If it turns hostile, we need immediate exit strategies." Elena made her decision. "Prepare a shuttle for a close approach. No weapons, no defenses except shields. This is a gesture of trust. We are explorers. We seek understanding, not conflict." The shuttle, small and sleek, detached from the Aurora and began its slow approach. Every officer on the bridge held their breath as it moved closer to the unknown ship. The vessel remained still, its shimmering surface reflecting the light of distant stars, as if it were aware of the human intentions and waiting for them to prove themselves. The shuttle reached a safe distance and hovered. Sensors recorded incredible details. Subtle fluctuations in energy fields, faint vibrations along the hull, and patterns that suggested a form of intelligence humans had never encountered. The crew watched, mesmerized, as the unknown ship pulsed with light in response to the shuttle's presence. Lieutenant Jara transmitted over comms. "It's responding to our movements, almost like it understands us. I can't explain it, but it feels aware, alive." Elena felt a mix of awe and fear. "Keep recording everything. We will analyze this, but remember, we are guests here. We must be careful." Hours passed in tense observation. The mysterious ship mirrored the shuttle's movements at first, but slowly, it began to display something new. Patterns that were not mirrored. Patterns that suggested experimentation. It was testing the humans' reactions, observing how they responded to unexpected behavior. Ron spoke quietly. "Commander, I think it's trying to teach us something. Every time it changes pattern, it's like it wants us to notice, to understand. It's communicating in its own way." Elena's mind raced. Could humanity learn from this intelligence? Could they unlock knowledge beyond their current technology, their current understanding of the universe? The possibilities were staggering. As the day ended, the the shuttle returned to the Aurora, and the crew gathered to review the data. The mysterious ship remained in the distance, silent once more, but its presence was undeniable. The humans had learned something incredible. Intelligence could take forms they had never imagined, and the universe was far more complex than they had assumed. Commander Elena Voss addressed her officers, her voice steady but filled with wonder. "We came here to explore. We found something that challenges us, something that observes, adapts, and learns. It is not hostile, not yet, but it is testing us, and we must respond, not with fear, but with curiosity, courage, and understanding. Humanity has always risen to challenges. This is no different." The crew nodded, a mix of excitement and apprehension in their eyes. They knew the coming days would test them in ways they could not yet imagine. But one truth was clear. They were no longer alone in this part of the galaxy, and they were about to enter a new era of exploration and discovery. The unknown ship shimmered faintly in the distance, its energy patterns pulsing like a heartbeat in the void. It was aware of the humans, tracking them, learning from them, and perhaps even respecting them. Humanity had faced challenges before, but never like this. And as the stars stretched endlessly around them, the crew of the Aurora realized that their journey had only just begun. The first contact was no longer a distant possibility. It was real. And in the silence of space, both humans and the mysterious ship began a subtle dance, learning from each other, testing each other, and preparing for the discoveries that lay ahead. The galaxy was wide, full of secrets, and humanity was finally beginning to understand that exploration was not just about finding new worlds. It was about discovering intelligence, understanding, and perhaps even friendship in forms they had never imagined. The day began quietly aboard the Aurora, but the tension in the bridge was palpable. The crew had spent hours analyzing the data from their first close encounter with the mysterious ship. Every officer knew that what they had witnessed was unlike anything in human history. The ship's intelligence was remarkable, adaptive, and clearly aware of their presence. For the first time, humanity was facing something that could not be easily measured, predicted, or controlled. Commander Elena Voss sat in her chair, reviewing the latest readings on the ship's energy patterns. The pulsing lights along its hull had grown more complex since the shuttle's approach the previous day. They were no longer just reactive. The patterns suggested a form of communication. "Lieutenant Ron," she said, "prepare a sequence to respond. Use the energy pulses and modulations we observed. Keep it simple at first, mathematical sequences, basic patterns. If it's intelligent, it will recognize the logic." Ron nodded, his fingers flying across the console. "We'll start with prime numbers and Fibonacci sequences. If it responds, we can gradually introduce more complex patterns." Captain Arik Denaro leaned forward. "Do we have any idea how it will respond? This could be dangerous. We're essentially sending signals into the unknown." Elena met his gaze steadily. "Every great discovery carries risk, Captain. But we need to try. Humanity cannot learn if it refuses to engage." The communication sequence was sent. At first, there was no response. The ship hovered silently, almost as if it were contemplating the signals. Then, slowly, the hull pulsed in return, mimicking the numerical sequences, but with slight variations. It was not an exact repetition. It was a reply. "Commander," Ron said, his voice a mix of awe and disbelief, "it's responding. Not just repeating, modifying the patterns. It's intelligent." Elena felt a thrill run through her. For the first time, humanity had encountered intelligence in its purest form, not bound by species or biology, but existing as a conscious entity in the void of space. "Good work," she said. "Keep the sequence going. Let it know we intend peaceful communication." Over the next several hours, the bridge became a hive of activity. The crew developed increasingly complex sequences, sending combinations of pulses, rhythms, and energy fluctuations. The mysterious ship responded in kind, creating a conversation without words, without voice, without a language humans could understand, yet filled with meaning. Lieutenant Jara, monitoring the shuttle's data feed, spoke up. "Commander, I think it's testing us. Every time we send a new pattern, it changes slightly, almost like it's seeing if we notice. And when we adjust our sequences, it responds differently again. It's a learning process for both sides." Elena nodded. "Exactly. This is not hostility. This is observation and exchange. We are learning from each other, but we must proceed carefully. Any sudden move could be misinterpreted." As the communication continued, subtle changes appeared in the ship's energy fields. The humans could sense them, though they could not fully interpret them. It was as if the ship were trying to show something, its own form of understanding the universe. The crew speculated endlessly about what these signals could mean. Was it showing them its propulsion methods, its energy sources? Or was it simply sharing awareness, a form of intelligence completely unlike their own? Elena called her senior officers together for a meeting. "We are on the edge of a breakthrough," she said. "This ship may be capable of teaching us things we cannot yet comprehend. But we must remain cautious. Observation alone is not enough. We need understanding. I propose we send another shuttle, closer this time, with more sensitive instruments. No weapons, no defenses except shields. Just us and our curiosity." Ron looked concerned. "It's risky, Commander. The ship is intelligent and we have no idea how it perceives us. We could provoke a response we cannot handle." Elena's gaze was firm. "We have handled risk before, Lieutenant. Humanity has always adapted. We proceed carefully, we observe, we learn. That is what we do best." The shuttle was prepared and launched. This time, its instruments were tuned to detect even the smallest energy fluctuations. As it moved closer to the mysterious ship, the crew aboard the Aurora held their collective breath. The ship's hull shimmered as the shuttle approached, pulsing in response to their presence. Lieutenant Jara reported over comms. "Commander, the hull is changing patterns. I think it's aware of our instruments. The energy flows are more intricate than before. It's almost as if it's trying to show us something." Ron analyzed the readings. The fluctuations are rhythmic but complex. They don't match any human system we know. It could be a method of internal communication or even a form of thought projection. I can't be certain. Elena leaned forward, her hands gripping the console. "Then we watch, we record, and we respond with care. Observe first. Act second." Hours passed. The shuttle hovered at a safe distance, capturing data while the mysterious ship continued to respond to every movement and signal. Slowly, a picture began to form. The ship's energy patterns were not random, they were structured. They seemed to convey understanding, curiosity, and even intention. The humans realized that they were not simply observers, they were participants in a dialogue, one that transcended words. Suddenly, a new phenomenon occurred. The ship emitted a concentrated pulse of energy that enveloped the shuttle briefly. The instruments went haywire, recording data that was almost impossible to interpret. The crew of the shuttle remained unharmed, but the readings indicated a deliberate act by the ship. Ron stared at the display. "Commander, it's interacting with the shuttle directly. It's not hostile, but it's engaging. It's trying to teach us something, or to show us something we've never seen before." Elena nodded slowly. "Prepare to replicate the pulse with controlled energy sequences. We need to communicate that we understand its gesture, that we are learning, not threatening." The next several hours became a delicate dance. The humans sent sequences of energy pulses designed to mirror the ship's patterns without mimicking them exactly. The ship responded each time with subtle modifications that suggested comprehension. It was a conversation of awareness, a shared understanding of presence, intelligence, and observation. Lieutenant Jara's voice trembled with excitement. "Commander, I think it's showing us part of its internal structure. Look at the energy flows. It's like pathways or circuits, but not mechanical, organic and technological at the same time. It's incredible." Elena's heart raced. Humanity had long dreamed of discovering intelligent life beyond Earth. They had found it, but not in the way anyone expected. It was not a being with a face, a voice, or a form they could recognize. It was something entirely new, a living intelligence in the form of a ship, aware of them, learning from them, and willing to interact. As the day turned to night aboard the Aurora, the bridge crew began to see the implications. This ship could teach humanity technologies far beyond their own. Its understanding of energy, propulsion, and consciousness could unlock possibilities they had only dreamed of. But the humans had to earn its trust. Any mistake could end the interaction before it had truly begun. Elena addressed her senior officers. "We are part of something extraordinary. This is not just exploration. It is the beginning of a dialogue that could change humanity forever. We must proceed with patience, intelligence, and respect. If we succeed, we will learn more than we ever imagined." For the next several days, the humans continued their careful communication. The ship responded with increasing complexity, guiding the humans' instruments and experiments in subtle ways. It seemed to recognize curiosity, intelligence, and courage, and in response, the humans began to understand something profound. The universe was not only vast, but alive with forms of consciousness they could barely imagine. One evening, as the Aurora drifted silently through the stars, Elena stood by the viewport. The ship hovered nearby, its hull pulsing gently in response to the humans' signals. For the first time, she felt a connection, not to a machine, not to a crew, but to intelligence itself. It was patient, deliberate, and infinitely curious. Lieutenant Ron spoke softly from the console. "Commander, I think it respects us, or something like respect. I've never seen anything like this. It's aware of our awareness. It's recognizing us as intelligent beings." Elena nodded, her eyes never leaving the distant shimmer. "Then we continue. We listen, we learn, and we respond. Humanity is just beginning to understand what it means to meet intelligence like this. And one day, if we are careful and wise, we may even earn its trust fully." The ship's light pulsed rhythmically, a silent acknowledgement of their intentions. For the first time, humanity and the unknown intelligence were in harmony, communicating not with words but with understanding. They were participants in a silent conversation that spanned knowledge, curiosity, and the shared wonder of discovery. The galaxy stretched endlessly around them, vast, mysterious, and full of life in forms humans could barely imagine. The Aurora and its crew had taken the first step into a new era, one in which humanity was no longer alone in the cosmos. And somewhere in the quiet depths of space, the mysterious ship pulsed gently, aware of them, learning from them, and perhaps beginning to consider them as equals. The first true contact had been made. The humans had learned that intelligence comes in many forms, that patience and curiosity are as powerful as any weapon, and that the universe is far more complex and wondrous than anyone had ever believed. Commander Elena Voss felt the weight of this realization as she looked at her crew. They were explorers, observers, and learners, and in the presence of this new intelligence, humanity's potential had grown immeasurably. The mysterious ship, shimmering in the void, continued to watch, to respond, and to teach. Humanity had begun a journey that would shape the future, not through conquest, but through understanding. And in the silence of space, a subtle promise seemed to pass between them, that the universe was vast, intelligence was varied, and humanity's story had only just begun. The Aurora drifted silently through the star-filled void, the mysterious ship always nearby. Unlike before, it no longer simply followed. It appeared to guide the humans, responding to their movements with gentle shifts in position, almost like a subtle invitation. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge, gazing at the ship, her heart beating with a mixture of awe and cautious excitement. For the first time, humanity had encountered intelligence that was not only aware but willing to interact on its own terms. "Commander," Lieutenant Ron said, his voice tight with anticipation, "we have mapped a region ahead. The ship's energy signatures are drawing us toward it. I'm not sure if it's a location or a destination it wants us to reach." Elena nodded slowly. "Prepare a shuttle. This time, we go alone. No defenses except shields, minimal crew, no weapons. We are visitors, not intruders. We go to learn." Captain Arik Denaro raised an eyebrow. "This is unprecedented, Commander. We have no idea what awaits us. It could be dangerous." Elena met his gaze steadily. "We've seen that it does not wish to harm us. It has responded to every attempt at peaceful communication. This is our chance to truly understand it. Humanity has always taken risks to explore the unknown. This is no different." The shuttle detached from the Aurora, gliding smoothly into the darkness. As it approached, the mysterious ship pulsed with light, and its surface rippled subtly, as if welcoming them. Sensors aboard the shuttle detected intricate energy flows along the ship's hull, patterns that seemed almost alive. Lieutenant Jara, piloting the shuttle, couldn't hide her awe. "Commander, it's incredible. The hull. It's like nothing we've ever seen. Almost organic, but precise, intelligent. It's beautiful." Elena's hands gripped the console. "Stay focused, Lieutenant. Observe everything. Record every detail. We are about to witness something humanity has never seen before." As the shuttle drew closer, the ship's pulses shifted rhythmically, and faint energy waves enveloped the vessel. The humans felt no danger, only a sense of calm, as though the ship itself were communicating reassurance. Ron's analysis confirmed it. The energy patterns were deliberate, coherent, and consistent with the sequences they had been sending for days. It was an exchange, a dialogue without words. Elena leaned forward. "Prepare to mirror the sequences we've been using. Let's respond carefully, showing that we understand, that we are here to learn, not to dominate." The shuttle's systems sent a series of patterned pulses, carefully designed to reflect comprehension and respect. The ship responded immediately, its light patterns intensifying and spreading across its surface in intricate waves. The humans realized that the vessel was guiding them, revealing its internal structure in ways that made no sense to conventional understanding. Energy channels flowed like rivers of light, shifting and adapting as if alive. Ron's voice was filled with disbelief. "Commander, it's showing us its internal systems. Look at the flows. They're organic, yet precise. This is not technology as we know it. It's alive. A sentient ship." Elena nodded, her mind racing. Humanity had long imagined life beyond planets, but this was something entirely new. Not a being with a face or voice, but a living intelligence, conscious and aware, existing in the void of space. It was not bound by biology, and yet it thought, learned, and perhaps even felt in ways humans could barely comprehend. The shuttle continued to hover, recording everything. The patterns began to form shapes, abstract, almost symbolic, like a language built from light and energy. The humans had no way to fully understand it yet, but the meaning was clear. The ship was willing to teach, to share knowledge, and to build trust. Hours passed. The humans sent sequences in response, mimicking curiosity, patience, and understanding. The ship pulsed in acknowledgement, gradually slowing its movements until the shuttle could approach safely. For the first time, they were close enough to feel the enormity of its intelligence, not just see it on screens or through sensors. Lieutenant Jara's voice trembled. "Commander, it's guiding us. Look, the hull. It's opening a section, like an entryway. It's inviting us inside. I've never seen anything like this." Elena's heart raced. "Prepare for entry. Minimal crew, no weapons. Approach slowly and carefully. We are guests, not invaders." The shuttle moved forward, and a section of the ship's hull parted seamlessly, revealing an interior glowing with soft, flowing light. The humans felt no fear, only a profound sense of presence. The interior was unlike any structure built by humans: smooth surfaces that seemed to pulse with energy, pathways that curved organically, and chambers filled with flowing light that resembled rivers of living energy. As they floated inside, the ship's patterns shifted to respond to their presence. It was almost as if the vessel itself were aware of every movement, every thought, and every intention. The humans began to understand that they were not merely exploring, they were being welcomed. Ron's voice was barely a whisper. "Commander, it's teaching us. Look at the energy flows. They're demonstrating principles of propulsion, energy conversion, even self-sustaining life systems. I've never seen technology like this. It's beyond us." Elena felt a mixture of awe and responsibility. Humanity had discovered intelligence beyond comprehension, but it was not here to be conquered. It was here to be understood, to be respected. "We learn," she said softly. "We observe, we record, we respect. And maybe one day we will understand enough to give back." The ship responded with a series of pulses that Ron interpreted as acknowledgement. It was not only teaching, but observing how the humans received its guidance. It was adaptive, intelligent, and patient. Humanity had never encountered anything like it, and the crew realized that this encounter could change the course of their species forever. Hours turned into days as the shuttle and the ship continued their interaction. The humans learned principles that defied conventional understanding: methods of energy generation, propulsion systems that could traverse vast distances with minimal resources, and patterns that suggested a form of thought or consciousness integrated into the ship itself. Every observation was recorded meticulously, every pattern studied, every pulse analyzed. Commander Elena Voss addressed her crew aboard the shuttle. "We are witnessing something extraordinary. This ship is not just a vessel, it is intelligence itself. We are learning, and it is learning from us. We must proceed with patience, with care, and with respect. Humanity has always risen to challenges, and this is the greatest challenge yet: understanding intelligence in its purest form." Lieutenant Jara nodded, eyes wide with wonder. "It's teaching us without words. It's incredible. I feel like we're part of something much bigger than ourselves." Elena smiled faintly. "We are, Lieutenant. We are participants in the first true encounter between human intelligence and an intelligence unlike any we've known. This is history, and we must honor it." As the shuttle prepared to return to the Aurora, the ship pulsed gently, as if acknowledging their departure. The humans had learned more than they had dared to hope, but they knew this was only the beginning. The ship's intelligence was vast, patient, and curious. Humanity had earned its trust, but the journey of understanding would continue. Back aboard the Aurora, the crew reviewed the shuttle's recordings. Every officer was silent, overwhelmed by the knowledge and the experience. The mysterious ship had revealed principles of physics, energy, and consciousness far beyond human capability. But more than that, it had demonstrated something even more profound: that intelligence, wherever it exists, values curiosity, patience, and respect. Commander Elena Voss addressed her officers. We have seen the future in a way. The galaxy is wide, full of mysteries, and humanity is only beginning to understand its place in it. This encounter is not an end, but a beginning. We have learned, we have adapted, and we have earned a chance to continue learning. And one day, if we are wise, humanity will be ready to take the next step. The mysterious ship remained nearby, shimmering softly against the dark expanse. It had tracked them, observed them, and guided them, but it had done so without hostility. It had recognized human intelligence, curiosity, and courage. It had shown them that the universe was vast, alive, and full of possibilities, and that respect and understanding were the keys to survival and growth. As the Aurora resumed its course through the stars, the crew felt a profound sense of accomplishment. They had faced the unknown, and rather than fear, they had been met with a form of intelligence that challenged and inspired them. Humanity had been tested, and in return, it had been acknowledged. Elena stood once more by the viewport, watching the distant glow of the ship. She whispered softly, though no one else could hear. "We tracked the new ship, but in the end it also tracked us. And we have learned that intelligence in any form is worthy of respect, patience, and understanding. The galaxy has shown us its wonders, and we are ready to continue." The stars stretched endlessly around them, and the mysterious ship pulsed faintly in response, a silent promise that this encounter was just the beginning. Humanity had met something extraordinary, and it had survived not by weapons or force, but by curiosity, courage, and respect. And in that realization, Commander Elena Voss knew that humanity's place in the galaxy had forever changed. The Aurora moved forward, carrying humans who had touched the edge of understanding, who had witnessed intelligence beyond imagination, and who had learned the most important lesson of all. The universe is vast, but respect, curiosity, and courage can bridge even the greatest distances. And somewhere in the dark expanse, the mysterious ship pulsed gently, aware of them, learning from them, and silently promising that the future held wonders yet to be discovered.